We're in this rather beautiful wooded valley, and we've both got our Vanquishers. The den up the road, there are lots of them in the Weald. The Weald is basically the Hundreds Wold, and that's what the forest was called in Saxon times, and in Roman times it was called the Anderida Forest. And although the village, now a village, this den is just up there, by the way, is not mentioned in the Doomsday Book, 1066. It is mentioned in Archbishop Lanfranc's Doomsday, which was a separate Doomsday book, the Monachorum, Doomsday Monachorum, which was all of the church's lands in Kent, because obviously when Willie the Conqueror came over, he deposed all of the existing Saxon bishops and put his own in place, and they did a listing of all of their lands in Kent called the Doomsday Monachorum, and the place up the road is mentioned in there. So we'll get on and see what we can find. Beautiful day, as I say. Even a little wet, but given that I found what would have been a William III sixpence on the last trip along this valley, I'll be progressing down that way, and it was bent into an S shape, which is normally perceived to be a token of affection, rubbed smooth. Most of them are actually William III, so 1690, 1700, that sort of date. There are different theories about why they might be shaped like that, but the most popular is that it was placed as a token, as I say, before buying a ring. If someone didn't have the money to buy a ring, they'd use that in order to... Well, anyway, we're here, and we've got limited time, so we'll get on and see what we can find. See you in a moment. I say it is a nice day, which is always a bonus. So Dan, just about to start our 4 hours of detecting, and we thought it would be a good place to start here, just because there was formerly a track in 1841 crossing the stream. Right, just as a point of interest, the video before last I found something that looked like a key, and possibly I called it a wonky wonder because it was very ancient looking. I went through the PAS and it turned out, it's this thing here, and it turned out to be one of these. That's the brilliant thing about the PAS. 20 years ago we didn't have that facility to find comparable examples of things, but it was a clock winding key from about 1600 to 1750. 14, 15 max depth, first hole of the day. Something reasonably deep. Let's give it a dig. I can actually see it, I don't know if you can, but shotgun cartridge end. We're going to just find dozens of these, unfortunately. Dan's already found a couple over there, I believe. Dan on his fourth hole, I think it was, has managed to find the first coin, but it's a modern decimal, unfortunately, we think.
Yeah, I can see the word Elizabeth and a number 198, which I think is 1980 something.
And it's the small writing, unfortunately, but he found it in the fence here, fence row.
It's completely deteriorated in that.
Yeah. We'll keep going. Right, now according to the 1841 map, the path crossed the stream here, but there's no sign of this here. I don't know if it's a remnant of the path or not, or where it went up exactly is hard to see. Unfortunately, we don't have permission for the other side of the stream, but it ran up to that field divide up there, if you can see it. I'm trying to work out where it was at the moment, so just detecting this area furiously to see if we can find some vestige or other. 50% on the depth gauge. As I say, the depth gauge is a relative thing, so don't read too much into that. This is going to be a shotty. I'm sort of 80% certain. We'll just dig it straight away, I think, because it's relatively shallow, I think. That's what my take on it is. Something shallow, something that's a shotty. There's a tree root there, unfortunately. Might make filming this a bit difficult. Don't know. Right, still in there. Dirty great tree root. Right, go down into the hole. Get the pinpointer in this case. 14, 13. Although they come up anywhere on the scale, shotties, they tend to populate 13 and 14 on the old Vanquish more than other numbers. See if I'm right. Yep, there we go. Shotgun cartridge end. We're going to have to dig a lot of these today, unfortunately. Got pinpointer problems. It goes on by itself after a while. I'll have to just try and work with it, but it's possible I've got water inside it from the last trip. I think it goes in through those vents there, see my thumb. But anyway, just found another shotty. So that's shotty number 3 or 4. On we go. Right, we're at the what would be the west end of the permission, near a boundary ditch. I don't know if you can see it running down there. Dan's over there somewhere, can't quite see him behind that tree. We've got an 18. 18, 19, 3/4 on the depth. Let's just dig it directly. Got a mixture of 303s, cartridges from World War I and shotty ends. Right, it's in that clod anyway. See what we find. Hope my pinpointer doesn't let me down. It's an essential tool really for detecting. Just can't gain any speed without it really. Although people managed in the past obviously by other methods, but see it's going off and it's not staying off. Right, put a new battery in it, but evidently it's got some water in it from the last trip. Been pretty good up till now, but yeah, starting to be a bit of an issue. Previously just changing the battery helped when this happened to Dan. What's that? Oh, it's a piece of lead and it's circular, so it's interesting. See, it's just going off my pinpointer. Oh well, do what I can using that. Don't know what that piece of lead is. It's a weight of some sort, I would imagine. Let's have a quick look. Don't know if I better see anything. Got a dot in the middle. Yeah, I think it's just I don't know. Can't see any markings on it, unfortunately, at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, lead weight, reasonably well oxidised. Cool. First interesting thing, really. Interesting find. I've just found down at a foot or more, probably 14 inches, I don't know. Right down there anyway. 9 plus the rest. Yeah, 12 maybe, 12 inches. Horseshoe. I'll show you. Got an interesting shape. It could be old. And where I'm situated, interestingly, is at the intersection of two branches of the river. So the intersection is there. The natural river course goes off to the left up towards the village, and the other section went quarter of a mile out to the sea estuary, which is now the sea being 12 miles away now. So yeah, quite an old horseshoe. I don't think that's, I think that's more than a couple of 100 years old anyway. Some horseshoe expert might be able to help me there. So basically where I've just found this rather lovely horseshoe, this branch of the river I think is artificial, because the head of it is a few hundred yards up there in a pond which sticks out into the field, and it's basically feeding the course of the river just here. Here's another drainage ditch that feeds the main stream where Dan is down there. I think I found a couple of World War I 303s, so it's kind of what I'm expecting this to be. It was 20 on the Vanquish. My pinpointer doesn't let me down. Oh, it was in here, wasn't it? Yeah, and this clod here. It's certainly going to be, yeah it is. Pinpoint's not going off, as I say. It's going to be slightly annoying that, but never mind. World War I 303. Dan's found a nice natural seat there. Just taking a break from things. Nicely shaped tree. Yeah, 2010.
You know, they're the ones that, you know, the primroses you have in the garden, they're the wild birds.
Dan's just saying about these wild primroses. We're being very careful not to disturb anything like that. We've got snowdrops obviously, but you can see that there, that yellow flower. There we are. Pretty. In a week's time we won't be coming back because of the carpet of flowers. But we'll do what we can today. It's got a 21, which is a double dinger. Always interesting sounds.
There it is. Oh,
what's he got?
Oh, could be.
You got a coin?
Could be a little coin. Let's see. Yes, possibly.
Has he got
a
coin?
Yes, it's a coin, I think.
Oh, well done. Right, what have you got?
I don't know. It's very
it's
small.
a halfpenny, is it? From the looks that size.
Yeah, it's got. Oh, at last.
Do you remember the old halfpenny? I remember those. I'm old enough to remember those. Oh, I don't know. Might be older than that.
It's quite thin, isn't it?
Hang on. Sorry, Dan. I'll just get it round into the light, and then have a closer look at it. Right, 1 minute. I'll get my. If you hold it out for me, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just get my spray bottle and then. Sorry, what were you saying?
Gemma says you should manifest things. You should not say, "Oh, it isn't this." You should say, "Yes, it will be."
Hang on. On the other side. Afraid I think it is a halfpenny, like a decimal halfpenny.
What, half p we called them?
I think that is, yeah. Dan's just found a coin. He's at the spot basically where the what was it, William III silver love token turned up. Yeah. Detect out this whole area because it was getting late. I found it right at the end on the last trip, but he says he's found a Victorian coin, which doesn't tie in with that because that last coin is 1700 or earlier. But yeah, it does look like a Victorian penny. Can you see Victoria?
I haven't. You need water on there.
Right, get the water. If you could hold it for me, we'll have a quick spray. Could be Edwardian, could be Victorian. Let's have a spray, shall we? Right. Are you able to gently rub it with your clean finger? Your clean finger, clean thumb, until the monarch appears? Keep going.
You have to wait.
Hang on. Very nice, Dan. Oh, well done. You're doing better than I am.
Third coin.
There's some sort of terrace that's been cut into the slope there. I don't know what that's about, which is just above the river. But there's a boundary ditch as well, and it seems to predate the boundary ditch if it's a track. But can't say for sure, obviously, what it is. Pretty. It's a nice sound.
Do you want my carrot?
I might borrow your carrot, Dan. Yeah, I've had carrot problems all day. Yeah, thank you. Let's see if I can get it out, because it's not going to be that deep. Famous last words. Thank you. Thanks. Pinger, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But that's only milled coins. Thinner metals produce rougher sounds, as I explained with eddy currents in the last video, or the video before last. Right, showing us there. Sorry, try not to cut the worm in half. Oh, there it is. I can see the coin. I finally got a coin. I can go home knowing I got a coin.
Victorian penny.
Light. Could be. Get my squirter out. 1 minute. I used to carry on detecting until I found a coin a couple of years ago. I wouldn't go home until I'd found one, but I don't know, it might be Edwardian. Might even be Elizabeth. Yeah, it's Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
No, hang on, it may not be. I think it is Elizabeth. Like an old 2p or what, old penny, but probably 50s or 60s.
Oh, it's 2p.
I don't know, I think it's an old yeah, it's an old Elizabeth penny. There you go. Well, it's a coin anyway. Right, a quick roundup. There are about 60 items. Mine are on the left here and Dan's are on the right. In fact, we found roughly 30 targets each. Nothing amazing, unfortunately. I'll start with mine. I found this lead weight. It's fairly plain. I don't know what it is. Pretty heavy. Some sort of bracket. Fairly modern. I don't know what that is either. Looks 20th century. 15 shotgun cartridges. And these, I believe, are World War I, because on the last trip to this place, I looked up RL and it's Woolwich and it's 1918. So these 303 cartridges are 1918. What else did I find? I found one single coin, which is an Elizabeth. Elizabeth II, the late Queen, and it's a penny, probably from the 50s or 60s, but I'll post that up as well. So that was it for me. And then over on the right, we've got Dan's finds. He also found 15 shotgun cartridges. So when you go in the woods, always to be expected, you've got to dig these things, because if you don't, you won't find the coins. Bit of foil, and these more interesting things are here. So you've got those two rings. I think these are associated with shooting. If somebody can tell me, I found one of those. I've found dozens of them over the time that I've been detecting. And we found a decimal halfpenny, the old halfpennies that I remember in my lifetime. Showing my age now. A small bullet. A 50 cal anti-aircraft bullet. It's got a blue tip. I don't know what that denotes. It might be a tracer or something. And then you've got a 303 bullet. And then he's got a coin, which I think is Victoria. It may not be, but again, we'll post that up. And then they've got a decimal 1p, which is highly corroded, which we didn't think was a coin at first, but it turned out to be 1p. But yeah, that's it. So roughly 60 items, I would say. I had a horseshoe, which unfortunately I've left in the woods, so I'm going to have to go back for that, and it did look particularly old. So you'll see that in the video, but I won't be able to post that up until I return. But thanks very much for watching. If you want to see my latest exploits, just I'd be grateful if you could subscribe, then you'll be brought details of each trip that I make.